Greetings, San Antonio. I would like to discuss with you my motives and reasoning behind my recent local political actions. In my video, Discourse on San Antonio Economics Part 1, I put the blame of the inundation of imported merchants mostly on the San Antonio consumer. But I cannot put the blame of the current state of the social landscape of San Antonio on the people, for it has been city government policies that have created what we now know as reality around this city. Have you ever wondered why criminality, teen pregnancy, gang activity, broken homes, and system dependency seems to be a prevalent theme in San Antonio? Do you think that happened by accident? I've said in many of my videos that San Antonio's problems began with Henry Cisneros, not for any other reason than he was the one who grew San Antonio government bureaucracy to Frankensteinish proportions. For example, as mayor, Cisneros increased city spending levels from $273 million in 1981 to $725 million by 1986. And if you lived here from 1986 onward, the more this city spent, criminality, teen pregnancy, gang activity, broken homes, and system dependency got worse and worse. Why? Before I begin to answer that question, let's talk about life in San Antonio pre-Cisneros. The city of San Antonio was a family-oriented, well, wait a minute. Let's let Henry Cisneros talk about life in the city before he came along with his policies. Go ahead, Henry.
The neighborhood that I grew up in San Antonio was like a Norman Rockwell painting, only all the faces were brown.
A Norman Rockwell painting, huh? Well, lucky him, because I can say from personal experience that those who grew up after 1986 in San Antonio was, unless you grew up in certain parts of the north side, far from a Norman Rockwell painting. As I've stated previous, Henry Cisneros is the man who created all these San Antonio bureaucracies and expanded spending to ridiculous levels because, as he said in 1986, anyone who is for the future, as opposed to San Antonio being rolled back to mediocrity and decline, will be with me in the city. Now here we are, 30 years later, and besides the increase of overpaid government bureaucrats, San Antonio has gone nowhere, except massive increases in criminality, gang activity, teen pregnancy, broken homes, and system dependency. Why? It's because the spending increases Cisneros approved in 1986 was to create the city of bureaucrats that we now live in. And when you have a city of bureaucrats, you have systems for which they are employed. And it's these systems that have kept this city in the state it has been since Cisneros. From the time we enter their bureaucratic schools, we are herded like cattle from system to system. From school systems, child protective systems, welfare systems, subsidized housing systems, child support systems, justice systems. Well, you get the idea. It's these systems that have subjugated the city to its current position. Think about it. We have a city bureaucratic system that gets increased city funds and job openings when more and more of us are children, pregnant, poor, or criminals. The very systems that are supposedly funded to help people are, by design, meant to keep people dependent on that system, so that bureaucrats can have the high salaries, the job securities, and the pensions, not you. If the people in San Antonio began to be less dependent on these systems, then bureaucrats employed in these systems will have jobs and funds cut by the city. So do you really think these supposed systems are there to help people? Of course not. And that is my motivation for my actions. The people of San Antonio deserve more than subjugating systems that are funded on the backs of the people of this city. They deserve a city they can prosper in and not one they must leave in quest for prosperity. The only way we, the people, can achieve this is if we start a ballot box revolution. One that will shake the very foundation of San Antonio bureaucracy. One that will have future career bureaucrats or politicians thinking twice and moving on to something more productive in society. To begin our revolution, we must vote out all career politicians out of San Antonio related offices, judgeships, and or any other position. I'm not advocating any brand of politics, politicians, or parties. Just do your revolutionary part to vote out the soulless pieces of garbage that have made a career from our struggle as a community. Enough is enough. We are not cattle. We are not statistics. We are not a means for your bureaucratic job security. You are not gods. You are not our owners, and you are certainly not irreplaceable. So I plead to the people of San Antonio, vote them out so we can at least bring back that Norman Rockwell painting back to San Antonio for our children and future generations. Because if we do nothing, then we are nothing.